Friday afternoon, June 21st, 2024. We're getting ready for a really exciting weekend for most of this country. You know, beautiful, classic summer weather has been in the St. Louis area for quite some time already. St. Louis is the one city which has had an extensive spell of this heat. It's the city which has been hit with this heat from both coasts. The dome of heat on the East Coast, St. Louis was far enough east to get hit with that, and as the dome just moves west across the Tennessee Valley today, heads to the desert Southwest, St. Louis, Missouri remains within the dome. But at the same time, St. Louis is a city which has not received dangerous heat from this heat dome at all. It's been very hot, but the heat indices have not been at 105 or higher, which is the criteria for St. Louis, for the heat advisory criteria. So for St. Louisans who love the really hot weather, which is a lot more than people living in the north, it's a lot more than anyone would think. You know, winters to Minneapolis, everyone knows that there are people in Minneapolis that love winter. And if there was to be a winter missed, they would be saddened. The same goes for St. Louis and summers. Sure, there are plenty that don't like the heat, but tons of St. Louis people love the heat. So this is a very happy moment for them. And I want to hear from our crowd, because I'm sure our crowd has a lot to... Yeah. Yeah, thank you, crowd. That's from our St. Louisans. They definitely love the really hot weather, without a doubt. I'm one of them. And we have heat really all over the country, a large part of the country, not all over the country, but a large part of the country. Colder air moved in from Canada. We even saw snow that fell in Alberta, Canada. Super rare stuff. We have heat building up in the north towards the Arctic, but the heat over there too, this is stuff that, you know, people are going to just be cheering away. Thank you, crowd, for that. Yeah. Thank you, crowd, for that. That was wonderful. You know, up north, it just means swimming weather. There's a very small gap between swimming weather and heat advisory criteria. The Environmental Canada will go ahead. They will issue, they'll start issuing excessive heat warnings when temperatures are just in the 80s Fahrenheit, and that's swimming weather, so people up there can just love it. It is such an inspiration, a true inspiration, to just imagine these are places where temperatures are below zero in the winter. We spoke about this last year, and not only does it become hot, but it becomes consistently hot. Those places which have consistent heat, such as St. Louis, Missouri, as opposed to the tropics, which are hot all year round, or as opposed to places way up north, which don't have the consistent heat. It is a true inspiration, but even the places way up north, it's just totally amazing. To go from, roller coaster winter weather to the summer, it's just totally amazing. The way this earth was made and the proximity it is to the sun, the way it's tilted, the way the length of the days make up for the fact that in the summertime, everything is balanced out. The sun is weaker up north, but the length of the days makes up for it. Not only does it make up for it, there's actually more solar insolation in the Arctic than there is down south. It's totally amazing, just totally amazing stuff. So we do tend to focus on the oppressive heat, of course. The media will always be focused on that. New York City is about to break a record, perhaps 7 consecutive days of temperatures in the 90s, says the news. And that would be a record for June. It just shows you how not hot New York is in the summer. It just, as much as people say it's hot, but how could you call that hot? Going into other places, it's clear. The state of Maine, when you have all-time highs, 96 degrees Fahrenheit, it's just not hot. It's just, these are places that do not receive hot summers for whatever reason, despite the fact they're far despite the fact they have so much solar insolation. But the Caspian Sea is not one of them. Russia, it's so hot over there. Temperatures in the 90s. We hear all the time of temperatures going into the 90s and 100s, even in portions of Siberia. That is a place where the temperatures accurately reflect the solar insolation that they're receiving. Not only that, we spoke about the Caspian Sea water temperatures go up to 95 degrees in the summer in the northern parts of the Caspian Sea, 47 degrees north latitude. Totally amazing stuff. You only find that in the Persian Gulf and the Caspian Sea. Who would believe it? It's because the water is so shallow. The United States is just not holding over there. Anyways, we have oppressive heat that's taking over the desert southwest, a tremendous dust storm, a life-threatening dust storm, or at least people ended up in the hospital Wednesday night. It's called a haboob. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but that's another term for a dust storm. I don't know why sometimes people refer to it as a haboob and sometimes just a dust storm. I think in India it's usually referred to as a haboob. It seems to be connected to the tropical storm, Alberta. We have a tropical depression, a tropical wave, which will likely be becoming a depression. It may develop into something more. It's a couple hundred miles off the coast of Florida. That thing is moving east. That's the only thing that I know about. I know there are some that we're speaking about a third thing, but I'm not quite sure. I don't see it, and I don't know where that is. Lots of severe weather is occurring right outside of the heat dome as usual. And that's it. It's really, for most places, just a continuation of what we've had up until now. Most places it's great. We do have one thing I'll tell you, for both St. Louis and Chicago, tomorrow's going to be a really hot day. Not heat advisory criteria for either city. Temperatures going into the mid-90s to low hundreds, somewhere around there. Chicago, mid-90s. St. Louis, upper 90s to around 100 degrees. There's high confidence in this heat, especially in Chicago due to the southwest winds. Chicago, usually there's not high confidence in heat, a lot of times due to the lake. This time the southwest winds bring the heat all the way up to the lake, but thunderstorms will erupt in both cities as a front moves through tomorrow night. More confidence regarding that in St. Louis, Missouri. I wish everybody a wonderful weekend. Have a great Shabbos and stay safe.